So today's video may be a little different. I really want to keep our journey as informative, upbuilding, encouraging as possible, but also real. And the reality is that we're having a couple of bad days. Honestly, just to be frank, Jason doesn't seem bothered by it, and I think that's a cognitive thing because of the brain tumor. He is just kind of in his own little world right now. He is very weak energy wise. His cognitive skills are just not there right now. There has been a lot of push and pull, I guess you could say, which has been really difficult on me because I don't know when to push and when to step back. As some of you may know, that he's been having some dehydration problems because he's just not wanting to drink anything. He used to be a huge soda drinker and sweet tea. He cut all of those things out because of the sugar, and then it became because of the taste. Everything tasted weird, and whether it was from the chemo or radiation or the combination of things, but it got to be where water, which is great, it's the only thing he wanted, but he was not drinking nearly enough of water, and it is a constant battle of how much he's drinking and how much he needs. He honestly needs to, be drinking, 100 ounces or more a day. His liver enzymes are a little high, they're a lot high. And it's because his body is not flushing out the toxins that he's taken in with the radiation and with the chemo. So, really have to get the water in him, and it's a struggle. He thinks he drinks more than he does, so that was always a huge argument. So I started labeling his bottles of water. 4 is not enough, but it's also where he's comfortable at right now. He thinks if he drinks more than 4 bottles of water a day that I'm literally trying to drown him. And it's funny but not funny because he's serious. So I've been marking his bottles of water on top with a Sharpie, literally 1, 2, 3, 4, so that he can see where he's at. Most days that works. Some days it's still a struggle. Like, his cognitive skills right now are just off. His energy level is extremely down, and he doesn't feel like doing anything. The least little thing. Part of his not wanting to drink water is because he didn't want to have to go to the bathroom. He didn't have the energy. He didn't want to expend the energy to get up to go to the restroom. And that's what caused his, bout with dehydration. That honestly still don't know that we got fully under control, because he didn't want to stay and take all the recommended bags of fluid that they wanted to give him. So that's another thing. He's been really stubborn. But this post it's not to dog Jason or to put him down in any way, shape, or form. It is just the reality of what we're going through, and it being brain cancer. It obviously is messing with his brain. So, you know, I've dealt with people, my grandmother, some other loved ones in our congregation who have had dementia, even Alzheimer's. I've always felt like I've dealt with them very well. Can, just go with the flow, answer questions 100 times, doesn't bother me. I will say that it's different when it is your spouse, and especially when it's brought on so suddenly, like the tumor in the brain. Dementia and Alzheimer's can be a gradual thing, and sometimes I think that may make it easier to deal with. Whereas what has been going on with Jason has happened very rapidly. So it's very difficult to see someone completely different than he was a year ago, 6 months ago even. It does not make me love him any less. It just makes me extremely sad. It makes me extremely worried because all of his symptoms or the things that he does or doesn't do, they can be brought on by his treatment or the chemo, radiation still, his daily medicines, or obviously tumor growth. And that's where I struggle. Every little thing that he does or doesn't do, like normal, my mind automatically goes to his tumor is growing back, or that it's, the inoperable tumor is, getting bigger. Of course, he's had a couple of MRIs. They have not been the best news. They've not been the worst news. They've been, honestly, just conflict in doctors. One doctor feels like, it's fine, normal, nothing that should be alarmed about. And another doctor feels that it's progressing. So that doesn't help. That's not helpful to know, to try to figure out, how it is. So then I'm left up to my own devices. And I have, some of you are probably well aware, but I legit have OCD that I take medicine for and have for years and years. And part of my OCD is legit, germs, cleaning, things like that. And then the other part is mental, where I obsess about death. And what I mean by that is that I have always obsessed about someone I love or being close to me dying. And it's a hard thing to describe, but it is when you have OCD, it is literally obsession, compulsion, disorder. So you have the obsession, like I do with cleaning. I can think about something, oh, that's dirty, that's dirty, that's dirty. The compulsion part kicks in to calm the obsession. So how do I solve that nagging thought in my head of something being dirty? I get up and I go clean it. When you're talking about an obsessive thought like death, there is no compulsion that you can do or that I have figured out to ease that. So my mind is a constant battle within itself. And the reality now that all these years of my obsession about someone dying that's close to me is now a reality, it is extremely hard. And I guess that's where a little bit of compulsion of relieving it is all my hours and hours and hours of research have come in. I honestly, I guess, have never really dealt with depression as much as just the OCD and the anxiety that it causes. But now I guess you could say that I'm maybe getting a little bit more on the depression side of things because of the reality that's around us. I mean, I know that I'm not the only one going through things like this. I know that we're not the only ones that are going through not only cancer, but, COVID. And then on top of that, we have an 8-year-old who is, how much he truly understands, I don't know. I know he knows his dad's sick, but I don't know how much he knows is how serious it is. But Everett is a very unique child, and he is homeschooled now because of COVID and trying to keep, that away from everything and from Jason. And, we're actually staying at my mom's right now because our house was under construction when Jason got sick. So we don't have our house to live in. We're all trying to live at my mom's. So Everett has just really been acting out. Today was a really bad day of him acting out. Unfortunately, it's the more he sees me upset, the more he tries to push that button and get me upset. I don't understand it. Child psychology. Anybody has any ideas? Hey, I'm up for it because I know that he's getting stir crazy. He's a very high energy child, and not being able to be around his friends, or, now it's cold, can't go outside as often. That's getting to him. The fact that we are stuck in the house all the time together, trying to force him to do his schoolwork, and then seeing to Jason in between those things. I think he feels a little left out. Him and Jason have always been extremely, extremely close. Jason has always been so involved with the kids, but especially now that we're older. When we had Everett, he has always been Everett's best friend. He has been Everett's buddy. He has taken Everett outside to play ball and do activities. He would take him everywhere. So the fact that now literally all that Jason has energy to do is sit, and occasionally he watches TV. Sometimes he just sits. But I think that has been an issue for Everett that he's dealing with. But it's just the reality of it just never goes away. I was kind of thinking about how cancer is just always the elephant in the room. And so I'm gonna make a video next. And I'm gonna post these separate days, but I'm trying to keep my videos for around 15 minutes, and that's where we're coming up at. So I'm gonna post and start a video about what I mean when I say cancer is the elephant in the room.